today in this video talk, which is basically on sessions of Indian Parliament. And my name is Vishrut Abhinna. I basically come from civil service background. And prior to my civil service stint, I had also worked as an assistant professor at a university. I have been an NTC scholar too. And today I'm going to talk to you on a very special topic that is concerned with the sessions of Indian Parliament. And also, as you know, that I'm currently a working faculty with Unacademy. And this interesting topic, which is rather sessions on Indian Parliament today, is first part of the series which I'm going to talk to you about Indian Parliament, right? So let us get going on this. Actually, you all know that Indian Parliament is the highest lawmaking body in our country, in our system, and the Parliament of India. It is called Bharatiya Sansad, and it's a supreme legislative body of the Republic of India. So it's a lawmaking body, the highest lawmaking body, as we all know. And the important thing to understand is that the Parliament has got three components. The Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha are the two houses of Parliament, plus the President is also a part and parcel of Parliament in our system. President is a part and parcel of Parliament because without the approval of a president, no bill which has been passed by both houses of Parliament can become a law or act. And therefore, it is, as we all understand, that it is a bicameral legislature. Bicameral basically means it has got two houses. This root bi means two and camera means the house. So two houses, there are two houses, a bicameral legislature composed of the president, of course, is a part and parcel of Parliament, and the two houses, namely the Rajya Sabha, which is the Council of States, which is also the upper house, and the Lok Sabha, which is House of the People or the lower house. So this is how the composition of the Parliament, संसद का जो गठन है उसमें राष्ट्रपति है और लोकसभा है, राज्यसभा है, ये तीनों मिलकर के संसद बनती है. लोकसभा और राज्यसभा में जो बिल पारित होते हैं वो फिर राष्ट्रपति को प्रेजेंट किए जाते हैं. राष्ट्रपति की स्वीकृति और अनुमति के बाद ही आफ्टर द अप्रूवल ऑफ द प्रेसिडेंट ओनली these bills become laws or acts. So this is about the fundamental and the basic thing about Constitution. The president, in his role as head of the legislature, head of the state, president is head of the state, has full powers to summon and prorogue either House of Parliament or to dissolve Lok Sabha. Right. The president can exercise these powers only upon the advice of the Prime Minister and his Union Council of Ministers, because we have a parliamentary form of government and संसदीय व्यवस्था जो हमारी है, पार्लियामेंट्री फॉर्म ऑफ गवर्नमेंट, क्योंकि हम संसदीय लोकतंत्र हैं. दैट मीन्स वी आर ए पार्लियामेंट्री डेमोक्रेसी, एंड पार्लियामेंट्री डेमोक्रेसी necessarily means that it has got a nominal head of the state and a real head of government, nominal executive and real executive. A nominal executive and real executive means we are a nominal executive means head of the constitutional head of the state is president, who is just having the nominal powers, right? But the real powers are vested in the Council of Ministers, which is headed by the Prime Minister. So Prime Minister being the head of the government and President is the head of the Constitution, or head of the state rather, head of the state. So what I'm saying is that in our system, President plays a very important role, although, and in certain situations, president's role becomes extraordinarily important, particularly when there is no party is winning majority in parliament. That time it is the discretion of the president to whom he calls to form the government. Of course, that time president has to exercise his discretion. But of course, he has to go by the dynamics of the party coalition, and also by the fact that who is likely to actually prove majority on the floor of the House. All those factors are there. But the point I'm making is that President of India is also having certain important role to play. It is not that he just being the nominal executive or just being head of the state is not merely ceremonial. He serves many important purposes that way. So what I'm saying is that in our kind of system, parliamentary system, president is head of the state and not head of the government. Head of the government is the prime minister, right? And of course, the members, those elected or nominated by the president to either house of parliament, because as we know that 12 members are nominated by the president Rajya Sabha, right? And these are the members, these are the people having special knowledge or practical experience in the field of art, science, literature, or social service. But of course, rest of the members are either directly or indirectly elected. In the Lok Sabha, they are directly elected. In the Rajya Sabha, they are indirectly elected. So the parliament, so what I'm saying, those elected or nominated to either house of parliament are referred to as members of parliament, MPs. And members of parliament in Lok Sabha are directly elected by the Indian people, Indian public, electorate, voting in single member districts, and the members of parliament in Rajya Sabha are elected indirectly by the members of the respective state legislative assemblies of the based on proportional representation. So, single transferable vote and proportional representation, that is the method for election of the Rajya Sabha members, which is indirectly, they are indirectly elected, and the Lok Sabha members are directly elected. So, now that is about the basic structure of parliament. Now, I'm going to talk about the sessions of Indian Parliament today in this particular episode, in this video. And sessions of Indian Parliament, as you know, there are usually 3 sessions here, parliamentary sessions we are going to talk about briefly. And that is, in relation to the sessions of parliament, the first thing to understand is that the summoning of parliament is specified in part 5, article 85 of the constitution. So it is part 5, article 85 of the constitution, wherein the summoning, the parliamentary sessions, summoning of parliamentary sessions is talked about. The power to convene a session of parliament rests with the government, basically, right? It is the president who calls and who calls the session and invites the members of parliament formally, right? But actually, it is vested in the government, right? When we say president is summoning the parliament, primarily what we are saying is the government, because president is communicating this on behalf of the government, that is the Council of Ministers. And the decision is taken by the Cabinet Committee on Parliamentary Affairs, which is formalized by the President, in whose name the members of Parliament are summoned to meet for a session. So it is important to understand that in our parliamentary system, President is a formal face to issue all the relevant orders, and all the relevant decisions are eventually conveyed through the president to the environment, political environment. So what I'm saying is that the decision regarding summoning of parliament is basically taken by the Cabinet Committee on Parliamentary Affairs, right? Which is then formalized by the president, in whose name these members of parliament are summoned to meet for a particular session. And India does not have a fixed parliamentary calendar. We don't have a fixed parliamentary calendar. By convention, is not provided for by the constitution. Parliament meets for 3 sessions. Usually, Parliament meets for 3 sessions in a year. Usually, I say because there cannot be a gap of more than 6 months between 2 sessions, and therefore, of course, minimum 2 sessions have to be there in a year. But there are usually 3 sessions in a year, namely the budget session, the monsoon session, and the winter session. And the budget session is the longest of the 3. Budget session, the first session of the year, which is addressed by the president, because the first session of every year is addressed by the president. It starts towards the end of January and concludes by the end of April or first week of May. So generally, you can understand that February, March, April, and May, right? That is the time. And generally speaking, it starts toward the end of January and it goes on till first or second week of May. So budget session of the three is the longest session, of course, because budget is presented and budget is discussed and budget is then voted, and this whole long process is there, and that long process is completed in the budget session. Actually, Parliament's main role is to ensure that adequate funds are approved and provided for all the development activities and various projects. All demands for grants which have been presented to the Parliament by different ministries, they have to be seen, looked into, discussed and voted by Parliament. That is one of the key roles, one of the key functions of Parliament. And therefore, budget session by far, is very, very important session of all the sessions as far as the Parliament is concerned. And then comes the monsoon session, the second session in the 3-week monsoon session, which is usually begins in July and finishes in August. You can understand that if we leave the month of January, right, then February, March, April and May, these 4 months you can remember the budget session. Then again, you can leave the month of June. You can leave the month of June, and then July, August, right, and September. Okay, these 3 months you can largely understand the monsoon session. Then October you can leave. Then November and December, that will be your winter session, right? So this is winter session. So this is your budget session. This is your monsoon session, and this is session. So generally speaking, I mean, you can have a broad idea like that. So the monsoon session, because there is no fixed parliamentary calendar, it is not provided for in constitution, and based on convention, sessions are being called each year. So monsoon session, I said, then thereafter the winter session. The winter session is the third session, is held from November to December largely. The summoning of Parliament, as I already told you, that summoning is the process of calling all members of Parliament to basically, and the President summons each House of Parliament from time to time. And as per Article 85, the gap between two sessions of Parliament cannot exceed 6 months. This gap cannot exceed 6 months time, and therefore, which basically means that Parliament meets at least 2 times in 1 year, right? 6 months means that, I mean, if one session is starting somewhere, for example, in February, right, and February, March, April, May, right? So it ends in May, say for example, February to May. Then is 6 months gap. There cannot be more than 6 months gap. So May being the 5th month, then at the most, before an interregnum of 6 months can be there, and therefore, before November, the next session has to be started in any case, right? So November means like at least 2 sessions will be there. This one session and then this another session, right? So there will be at least 2 sessions, so to say, right? So if a question comes in UPSC that how many minimum sessions are possible, right, or how many minimum sessions should be there for that matter, as far as parliamentary sessions are concerned, then obviously the correct answer will not be 3 but 2 because usually there are 3 sessions, right? But if the question is based on this idea that how many how many sessions should be there in any case. So already it is mentioned in the constitution that there cannot be a gap of more than 6 months between 2 sessions. As per Article 85, the gap between 2 sessions of Parliament cannot exceed 6 months, right? Same article which talks about summoning of sessions, it talks about the gap also, and it cannot be more than 6 months, which means basically that Parliament meets at least 2 times in a year, at least 2 times in 1 year. This is important to understand. Then the adjournment, adjournment basically, it terminates that sitting of the House, which meets again at the time appointed for the next sitting. So it is not a permanent prorogation. It is adjournment. Adjournment means that temporarily the meeting is terminated, and then the time is appointed, and then the next appointed time they have to reassemble, right? So this adjournment can be, for a few hours, or it could be, for a few days also, for a few weeks also, right? Now, the postponement may be for a specified time, such as a few hours, few days, or few weeks. So this is just adjournment of a particular sitting is terminated for the time being, and then they would reassemble, right? Now, if the meeting is terminated without any definite time or date fixed for the next meeting, then it is called adjournment sine die. So adjournment sine die basically means that sometimes, you would find in the news that the session of the parliament has been adjourned sine die. Sine die basically means that it has been adjourned without assigning any fixed date for reassembly of the of parliament, of that house, that time. So this is adjournment sine die. So it is basically termination of the sitting temporarily, right? That is the adjournment. And the power of adjournment as well as adjournment sine die, that of course this lies with the presiding officer. Presiding officer means it lies with the speaker of the Lok Sabha or the chairman of the Rajya Sabha. So basically, adjournment is a short-term postponement, so to say, and due to a variety of reasons, in order to conduct house in an orderly manner, adjournment becomes necessary at times. And sometimes adjournment sine die, if there is too much of tumult, too much of commotion in parliament, then there is adjournment sine die. they would not even give time when they will reassemble. And of course, adjournment is there normally for a few hours, and then the reassemble. Generally on the same day they reassemble. Then prorogation is another important term you should understand. Is provided for in the Constitution. Prorogation is the end of the session, right? When a particular session comes to an end, then it is prorogued, and not dissolution of the House. So President will prorogue because President is summoning the session, so President will prorogue the session. And it is not the dissolution of the House. Please remember, dissolution of the House means the House is dissolved and new Lok Sabha will be elected. And of course, Rajya Sabha is not subject to dissolution. Rajya Sabha is a permanent house. So prorogation is the end of the session and not dissolution of Lok Sabha. Or in the case of Lok Sabha, as Rajya Sabha does not dissolve, Rajya Sabha is a permanent house, right? Rajya Sabha is a permanent house. Its members are elected for 6 years. And normally 1/3 of the members would retire every 2 years. So it is done by the President of India, obviously, because he has summoned the session, so he only can prorogue the session. So summoning of the sessions and prorogation of the sessions, that is done by the President. Right. President, in other words, basically it means we are talking about the Council of Ministers, headed by the Prime Minister. Because the real power, that being the real executive, the real power is vested in the Council of Ministers. That we should remember. Then let us talk about quorum. Quorum, of course, Article 100 talks about quorum in the Constitution, and quorum refers to the minimum number of members required to be present for conducting the meeting of the House. So whatever is the maximum strength of the House, right, then that is 10% of that is the quorum. As per Article 100, the Constitution has fixed 1/10 strength. 1/10 strength is quorum for both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So if 250 is the total membership of Rajya Sabha, for example, then 25 members must be present in order to conduct the business or start conducting the business of that particular house, right? Similarly, for the Lok Sabha, the maximum strength is 545, and if the present strength and the maximum present is 543, for example, then the 10% of that means 1/10 of that will be the quorum, right? Whatever is the maximum strength of the house, for a particular period, right? 10% of that, 1/10 of that will constitute the quorum. So without the quorum basically means, quorum का मतलब ये होता है कि यदि उससे कम सदस्य उपस्थित नहीं है तो सदन की कार्यवाही नहीं हो सकती. इसका मतलब ये, इसका तात्पर्य ये. So basically it means that only that in order to conduct the business, this is the minimum number of members required for conducting the business of the house. That is the meaning of quorum. और quorum की आवश्यकता क्यों है संसद के अंदर, संसदीय प्रणाली में? क्योंकि कुछ तो सदस्य, 10% सदस्य तो उपस्थित होने ही चाहिए. अब उससे भी कम सदस्य उपस्थित है, और ऐसा थोड़ी है कि 2-4 MPs मिलकर के और भारत के भविष्य का निर्धारण करेंगे. इट इज़ नॉट लाइक दैट. So it cannot be like that, and it is not like that all over the world. There is a provision for quorum of parliaments, and minimum number of members are supposed to be there. And of course, we know that some of the parliamentarians don't take it seriously. They don't attend meetings for months on end, And of course, then they are issued notices and they are requested to join. And we know, I mean, a lot of members, they don't take parliamentary business seriously. They think that they are elected and then they take it as a privilege actually. So that is an unfortunate part that, I mean, parliamentary business is not taken seriously and by some of the members. And at the same time, you will find that some members are very particular, very serious, and they are rather great ideal examples of parliamentary business. We know several such members who are great ideal examples of parliamentary business, and they are examples, so to say, in the history of parliament that way. So what I'm saying is that quorum is therefore, one of the very important key factors in this regard. And thus, to conduct a sitting of the Lok Sabha, there should be at least 55 members present. Obviously, if we go by, that number, so quorum will be 10%. Similarly, to conduct a sitting of the Rajya Sabha, there should be at least 25 members present. So this number, of course, you can see the maximum strength if you take is 545, then of course 55 members would be required. 545. If you take 543, which is the current maximum strength, that then also it will be 55, because it is slightly more than 54, so it should be logically taken as 55. Then before I proceed further, let us talk about this special prize week is currently going on. First of all, I encourage you all students that you should join Unacademy. Is the most happening place today in the country in the field of quality education. And my referral code is VN10, that you remember. Victory like never before with 10 times the force. That is the meaning of VN10. And you get to have 10% additional discount if you join Unacademy platform and subscribe to the courses of Unacademy. What I'm saying is that reduce by 10% now only on the combo and iconic general studies packages. This is 10th to 17th November, means currently it is going on, and you should use this code VN10 for this purpose. VN10 means victory like never before with 10 times the force. So you have to hurry up and join the program. What I'm saying, and here you can make out that the prices of Unacademy for plus combo, for iconic combo, and for iconic general studies, they're very nominal. They're nearly less than half the price which is charged by other coaching centers, right? You'll find that other institutes are charging way up. So they're very moderate prices, and the best quality education is available because the topmost educators are now associated with Unacademy, for the simple reason that millions of students are connected with Unacademy. Right. What I'm saying is that this is a great happening which is going on. And as you can see that even the recent results of civil service, Unacademy has given quite a sizable number of selections, which is rather very praiseworthy, looking at the fact that they are generally a recent startup, right? But they have established very well themselves. And now the most important thing for you to know is that topmost educators are associated. Now look at it, for example, now I have been into civil service coaching and mentoring for nearly 25 years. So this is such a long time, 25 years. Like they say that in 5 years you acquire expertise in a subject. That is, if you continue to study a subject for 5 years, scientists say that our minds get adapted and we acquire expertise in that subject. Now, I've been teaching for 25 years. I'm in civil service. I've been associated with it for a long time. Now, I myself had been in civil service and I had been a professor earlier. And I have been a National Talent Search scholar also during my schooling and college education. And what I'm saying that I rose up in the government to the level equivalent to that of a joint secretary to Government of India at a very high position, in fact. And then I chugged up primarily to pursue my passion for social service and education, that is teaching. I'm doing both the things, right? Presently, I'm associated with social service. I'm associated with teaching, right? So what I'm saying is that topmost educators now are associated with Unacademy for the simple reason that this is a place where there is much value and worth for quality of education, and it has tremendous potential basically for the future. I'm telling you that it is going to it is going to surpass all expectations and give much better results in days to come. So this is high time for you to join Unacademy. You can get associated with educators of Unacademy directly also, right? You can, for example, get associated with me, and there is a provision for that, and you can get associated with any mentor for that matter. So what I'm saying, that this particular week you get to have this additional 10% discount over and above that. If you use this VN10 referral code, then of course you are entitled for a 10% discount as it is, in addition to what is being offered by the academy as of now. So what I'm saying, this is high time for you. You can join 1-year subscription, 2-year subscription, 3-year subscription, and you find that the rates are so highly rich. 3-year subscription coming for iconic combo, coming for 1,28,000. Imagine, I mean, some of the institutes are charging this money, more than this money, for 1 year, right? And you get to have 3 years, and in that also so many incentives. You get to have free set of books, you get to have entry into test series, free test series you get to have. You get to have direct touch with the mentor, you get to have, in iconic, you get to have great number of facilities. I think this is a historic. I think never before in the history of coaching and hand holding and mentoring, you know, such a phenomenon was witnessed. The great thing, and above all, what is more important, you can also borrow money from an academy. You can go for a loan which is interest-free loan with a 0% interest rate, no hidden charges, and online clearance. I mean, this is a great facility. You decide to become an IAS, and you will become an IAS. 3-year subscription. If you are determined, every facility is provided. Even money they are providing, like on loan, and then you can in easy installments later on repay that money. So I think this is a great facility, and 3-year subscription coming for 1,28,000, unimaginable in present time, right? And this facility is available for now. So I don't think you should miss out on this, and you should go about this. This is high time. Use this referral code VN10. This VN10 stands for victory like never before with 10 times the force. This basically means that you have to now, be determined and be successful. This is high time for you. There will never ever be a better time than this. I'm telling you that this is the greatest time for you, and you must determine and decide, right? Why am I saying so? I'm saying so because of the simple reason that these topmost educators are now associated with an academy, for the simple reason, as I said, that billions of students are associated, and of course every teacher wants to convey his his knowledge to maximum number. That is the satisfaction he derives out of it. Not only for monetary purpose, that is a small part of it, but the real larger part is that I'm teaching because I draw a lot of satisfaction out of teaching, right? That is the main reason. Otherwise, why will a person go on doing a particular activity for 25 years? Of course, only if one is passionate about it, one can do it. One is not passionate about it, you cannot do it. You cannot do an activity even for a month if you are not passionate about it. You will soon chuck up. You will soon give up. What I'm saying is that this is therefore one of the reasons, and you see that a whole lot of ranks. I mean, these luminaries, they were all associated with an academy, and they were highly benefited by an academy for the simple reason that, I mean, you see, you get to have choice. You can choose your mentors. My profile is available on Unacademy platform. You can see the profile of all the teachers, right? And then you can decide which teacher, which particular batch. Don't go by only the popularity of a teacher, right? Because at times, if I have joined relatively late Unacademy platform, that means you will not see so many views there. But definitely, if you go by experience, by maturity level of teachers, and by the success rate, then you should decide and determine for yourself that which particular mentor you want to go with, right? English medium, Hindi medium, both. I teach bilingually, हिंदी और इंग्लिश दोनों में. आपको जैसे सहूलियत लगे वो आप ज्वाइन कर सकते. What I'm saying is that now in top 20 is 7 ranks Unacademy has given. Gaurav Budhania's some classes were also arranged. You can also get in touch with the people who actually got selected, right? You can get in touch with Jagriti, Avasthi, Satyam, and Apala. It is high time. You can get in touch with Arth and Podi Shetty. So what I'm saying is that this is high time, and of course, in all 170 plus selections have been churned out. So what I'm saying that you might have seen my video where I cracked Indian economy paper on the day of prelims this year, 10th of October. And let me tell you that Unacademy were the first in India to have telecast live, all the solutions of IAS prelims paper. I had cracked that paper on that day and telecast it first of all. Like first means I had a team of five other professors. So six of us means respective subjects. I had cracked economy and they had cracked their respective areas. Economy and polity is my forte. So what I'm saying is that this is high time that you can see that video. That video of solution of the prelims paper is available. Where what I'm saying, the remarkable thing is that we were the first in the country. Unacademy team was the first in the country to have cracked that paper. You can see my video there. If you feed my name Vishrut Abhinna, you will get that on the YouTube. So 170 selections is says in so to say a remarkable result by all means, right? And that too, 7 ranks in top 20. But of course, I mean, this is to begin with. I mean, just in a few years, just in 4 or 5 years, I mean, this achievement is lofty achievement by all. And 15 ranks in top 50 and 170 in all. So what I'm saying is that for you, this is the moment of decision. That and another important thing, that guidance from top educators you get to have, as I said, comprehensive test series you get to have. In fact, you get to have free test series if you join, 1 year plus subscription, and high quality reading material you get to have. You get to have a set of books worth 10,000 rupees for free with this subscription. So that is such a great benefit. I mean, there can never ever be a better chance to join for civil service. If you want to become an IAS officer, high time. I'm telling you, at our time, these facilities were not there. At our time, we had to fend for ourselves. And of course, a couple of centers were there in Delhi. And that time, I had some exposure for interview preparation, right, in Delhi. But then these kind of great facilities were not available at that time, right? I cracked IAS examination the year 1995, imagine, right? And this is the time when I've been associated with IAS mentoring, and many of my students, like every year, my students get into IAS and IPS and IRS and a whole lot of services. Of course, I mean, don't go by popularity chart, but what I'm saying, the basic facts and statistics. Many of my students are even joint secretaries. So what I'm saying is that you get to have doubt clearing and answer writing sessions also. Now, currently I am running one answer writing session. You can join that. And comprehensive coverage of current affairs is there. That is, of course, YouTube talks are also there by some of the educators of Unacademy. Every day, analysis of current affairs is there. Now, so you get to have, at all stages, quality thing which is available for you. You get to have. Now, we have already started these batches. 17th November, we are starting these batches. Is seen that संपूर्ण सामान्य अध्ययन की समग्र तैयारी, right? These batches are started. Then I mean batches are started for UPSC civil service की 23 के लिए batches है. सभी के लिए, I mean batches for 22, batches for 23. You get to have all these batches are now currently available. What I'm saying, and you get to have 7 months plus 2 months plus 3 months. Now, here this kind of division is there for your preparation. The prelims plus mains, a prelims booster, score booster courses are there, and so you get to have for prelims plus mains a very structured program, so to say. And English and bilingual batches are there starting 17th of November for 2022 batch for a whole lot of subjects, history, economy, polity, and science and technology, environment and ecology. All. Then, this 2-year journey, as you pass through different stages, right from the beginner stage to the most advanced stage, then you get to have a firm hand holding from Unacademy, and you get to have direct access to mentors also. So what I'm saying, bilingual and Hindi batches are also started on 17th November, and they're going to start soon. And this whole lot of subjects, including the essay writing strategy. About essay writing, I would like to tell you that I had the privilege of having the highest score, right, in English essay. And English essay is one area, which can really boost your scores like anything, right? So this is one of the key areas. English as a strategy, you can take that subject also, and geography, economy, and a whole lot of subjects, including ethics, integrity, and everything, whatever, all the subjects comprehensively will be taken care of, right? You have dedicated faculties for each and every subject at each and every stage, right? What I'm saying. Pre-test series is there. You enroll for 1 year, 2 year, or 3 year subscription. You get to have, and you get to have, daily static test quiz and T20 current affairs, and combat is there. Every Sunday 11 a.m. combat is there, which can entitle you for scholarships. So here you get to Unacademy UPSC current affairs combat, and you get to have scholarships. Top 3 ranks 100% scholarship, 4th to 10th rank 75%, 11 to 50 ranks 50% scholarship, right? And 51 to 500 25% scholarships. This is a great time that you get to have so many scholarships as well. 14th November 11 a.m. you should chip in for this combat. Live mentoring platform is available. This is LMP, live mentoring platform, and you get to have direct access to your mentor for doubt clearing and other things. Personal coaching is available. Doubt solving is available. Evaluated test series, the daily answer writing, study booster sessions, right? Live classes are there, weekly tests are there, study material is there, unlimited access is there, and structured courses. So what else you? Basically, I mean, if you're serious, then of course we are fully prepared. What I'm saying is that. Then of course I already told you about this particular thing that you get to have loan facility also. Avail of loan facility, you can avail of that. So let's crack it and let's get going. And remember, VN10, this is your entry code for discounts and a whole lot of other facilities on the Unacademy platform you get to have once you use a referral code of a faculty. Then let us talk about the budget session. The budget session is usually held from February to May every year. It is considered to be a highly crucial session of the parliament, obviously, and the budget was earlier presented on the last working day of month of February. However, now it is presented on 1st of February each year. The date of presenting the budget is shifted to 1st of February for enabling the provisioning of funds well in advance prior to the commencement of financial year. So you see that, of course, vote on account provision is there, but it's still like in order to plan the budget in a better way and to provide for and the provisioning of funds in a better way, this date has now been advanced to 1st of February. And you know that Nirmala Sitharaman, our present finance minister, presented the budget in the Lok Sabha on 1st of February, right? So what I'm saying, this budget session is by far the most important session for the simple reason that the whole budget is presented, then discussed, debated, and finally voted, right? But of course, everything cannot be looked into so meticulously. So they guillotine at the end of the budget discussion when so many demands for grants, there is no time to discuss them, right? Because it's a voluminous document, and in the given limited time, within 75 days, they are supposed to wind up the whole exercise of budget. So it is not possible at times. So what happens at the end? Whatever demands are left out, they are just subjected to vote of parliament. They say I means yes, pass. And so this is called guillotine. Guillotine means basically without discussing, you are just approving and passing crores and crores worth of money, right? Lakhs and lakhs of crores. In fact, great amounts of money are involved. So anyways, that is why this budgetary session, it should be even longer. In fact, on an average, if you see, the member of parliament sits in parliament, it's for a maximum period of say around 100 days in a year, maximum, I'm saying. So generally it is less than that. So the working hours of members of parliament should be increased actually, and because they need to devote more time for the development of the nation and less time for politicking and doing their political work and all that. So what I'm saying is that of course the world over, the practices parliamentarians don't meet much often, and the average time they spend is of course in that range. So but yes, keeping at the Indian conditions, certainly members of parliament need to be a little more serious, and our government should think about it and should increase, the 3 sessions can be 4 sessions, for example. That would be a welcome move, because if more time is devoted, probably a situation like guillotine can be avoided altogether, right? That is one of the ideas I'm just giving you through this video talk, and you can make use of these great ideas subsequently in your interview and other places. Anyways, now here the members discuss the various provisions of the budget and matters concerning taxation. For example, after the finance minister presents the budget, please remember the budget is presented in Lok Sabha only. It is not presented in Rajya Sabha. They get to have a copy, right? The budget session is generally split into two periods with a gap of 1 month between. Obviously, that gap is necessary. During that time, the committee study the budget and then they make recommendations, and later on, in the light of those recommendations of the parliamentary committees, and those things are discussed and voted. So this session every year starts with a presidential address to both houses of parliament. Of course, the first session of each year is addressed by the president. Provision of presidential address is there in the constitution. Monsoon session is held in July to September every year, and this is after a break of 2 months after the budget session. And in this session, matters of public interest are generally discussed. Of course, everything parliament is discussing is of public interest. But this is a different point, that to what extent by their discussion public interest is satisfied. That is a different matter. And we have to separately critically examine that thing, whether the contribution of parliamentarians by way of discussion, right, in parliament, is it value addition is there, or what else. So it is a whole lot of debatable dimension. But basically the intent is that they are discussing everything in the public interest only, right? In the session, matters of public interest are discussed. Basically, public interest matters. Parliamentarians are representatives of people, and they are. I mean, it is supposedly they are doing everything in the interest of the public. Otherwise, they don't have a personal agenda for that matter. Generally speaking, theoretically, right? So what I'm saying is that the winter session of Parliament is held in mid-November to mid-December every year, and it is the shortest session of all. Winter session is the shortest session, right? And it takes up the matters that could not be considered upon earlier and makes up for the absence of legislative business during the second session of Parliament. So basically, it is a make-up session, sort of, it makes up for, the absence of legislative business during the second session of Parliament. So whatever was left or whatever was deficient, that is made up and that is completed, and the whole exercise of legislative process is generally for the year completed in this session, winter session. Right? Now, there is a provision for joint session of Parliament also under Article 108 that we should understand. The Constitution of India provides for a joint sitting of Parliament's two houses, the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, in order to break any deadlock between them. If there is a deadlock between the two, the situation of deadlock can arise that amendments suggested by one house are not acceptable to the other house, for example, or the one house doesn't agree, the other house doesn't agree at all with the other house. One house doesn't agree with the other house at all, right, on issues and matters, then there's a deadlock, right? Or more than 6 months' time has lapsed, between when the bill was sent to that house and nothing has been heard of that. So in that case also, the joint sitting is called by the president. Under Article 108, there is a provision of joint sitting, and such a session is presided over by the speaker. Please remember, a joint session of the two houses of parliament is presided over by the speaker. And if the speaker is absent, in his absence, it is by the deputy speaker, right? But in the absence of both, it is presided over by the deputy chairman of the Rajya Sabha. It is not presided over by the chairman of the Rajya Sabha. Please remember, who is the vice president of India. So in the absence of both, it is presided over by the deputy chairman of Rajya Sabha. And if any of the above are not present, then any other member of parliament who is, based on the consensus, both houses together, they will decide based on the consensus, he can preside over the two houses, that is the joint session of parliament. So this is about the joint session. And if any of the above are not present, of course, and any member of parliament by consensus, Article 108 of the Constitution, I already told you, talks about the. Now, when a joint session, when is a joint session called? Basically, if a bill is passed by one house and passed on to the other house, the other house rejects the bill either, right? Or the other house disagrees on the amendments made by the bill, or if 6 months have passed since the passing of the bill by one house and the bill has been received by the other house without being, passed. So in that case, the president cannot summon a joint sitting if the bill was not passed because of the dissolution of the Lok Sabha. If the Lok Sabha was dissolved and because of dissolution of the Lok Sabha bill was not passed, then of course joint sitting cannot be summoned, right? Only if the Lok Sabha is ongoing and then this conflict situation has arisen, then of course joint sitting can be there. Also, in calculating the 6 months time, days when the House was prorogued or adjourned for more than 4 consecutive days, that is not counted. That is not counted. So, I mean, these certain basic facts are taken into account insofar as the joint session of Parliament is concerned. There are two basic exceptions to the joint session of Parliament, joint sittings. Number one, money bills. No, there cannot be any joint session of Parliament for the money bills, for the simple reason that the role of Rajya Sabha is very limited there. The role of Rajya Sabha in case of the money bills is very limited. And after the Lok Sabha has passed it, even if the upper house, that is Rajya Sabha, does not pass a money bill within 14 days, it is deemed to have been passed by both houses of Parliament. So, maximum 14 days time is given to Rajya Sabha, in that it can either pass the bill and suggest amendment and send it back to the Lok Sabha. Lok Sabha may accept or reject those amendments, right? And if it doesn't pass within 14 days, then it is deemed to have been passed by both houses of Parliament. So, that is special procedure for money bills laid down in the Constitution, and that is followed, right? And after the expiry of the above period, so there is no issue for a joint sitting in the case of a money bill. Then constitutional amendment bills under Article 368 also don't have a provision for joint sitting. According to Article 368, the Constitution of India can be amended by both houses of Parliament by a special majority. We know that two types of special majorities are prescribed in Article 368, right? That we separately, I mean, we'll discuss about it. 368, in case of a disagreement between both the houses, there is no provision for a joint session of Parliament for amending the Constitution. So, this is the remarkable thing, that although for ordinary bills, the provision for joint sitting is there, but for amendment bills, that there is no such provision for amending of the or joint sitting of the Parliament. So, students, that's the talk of the day. I wish you all the very best of success. Please remember, my name is Vishrut Abhinna. You can follow me up on video talks. You can also see my special classes, which are available for free on Unacademy platform. And please remember the referral code, in case if you are joining now, BN10 is the referral code, which will entitle you for 10% additional discount over and above what the institute is providing for at this hour. So once again, I wish you all the best of success, and see you all in the